Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Portal. Today, my boy Jay Fizzle and I are going to be talking about day one of WrestleMania that occurred last night. Now, I enjoyed what I got a chance to see. It was somewhat, I wouldn't say I wasn't surprised by some of the things. I would say that the one thing that really got me were just I didn't know certain people were going to be there, and that was a big surprise for me. Uh, Bear with me for a moment. So, day one started, I guess, about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. We got a few beforehand matches. The first hour was actually on ESPN, and then after that, it went to ESPN Unlimited. So, Jay Fizzle, what was the most exciting thing that you saw last night?
Most exciting thing. I guess for me, I want to say that I know we're going to get into it, but one was Bianca Belair. That was a total shock for me that she's pregnant. So now we got two baby WWEs that are cooking in the oven, just like how The Rock was saying, The Rock is cooking. We got two babies that's cooking in the oven. So Bianca is pregnant during the same time period that Naomi is pregnant. So they're gonna have babies that are basically around the same age. And then the other thing that shocked me, which again I know we're gonna get into it, is the fact that Cody won. Um, I thought Cody was gonna lose. Everybody was assuming that he's gonna lose, just like CM Punk is gonna lose, since SmackDown was kind of like the goodbye speech supposedly. But again, I know we're gonna get into that because Randy Orton should have won, so we can have his 15 and now we're going to sit here and wait for a few months or hopefully not years that he's hopefully going to beat John Cena's record.
All right, so for me, um, I have to agree with you on that. I did not think Cody was going to lose, though, just because I was like, well, that would be kind of wrong. You know, you build up all of this. For some reason, he lost the championship for maybe a month or at least a week. And I would have rather have seen Drew versus Randy over Cody versus Randy. I thought that would have been a better match for me. And then in that case, Randy would have beat Drew, and that would have been great. But we got Cody, and when I saw Cody was there and all of the before ring entrance information that they were giving out, I was like, Cody's definitely going to win this match. So I had no
Mhm.
doubts about that. Like you said, when Belair Bianca came out, I saw her face, and I could see that she looked a little bigger at the time. I mean, she's still fit no matter what, but she just looked like she had a little extra weight on her that was unusual for her. And when she opened up her, her jacket, I was like, wow, because she is very pregnant. She's just not like, oh, I'm 2 months, you know. She looks like she's at least 5 to 6 months pregnant. Um, Another thing, I guess I was somewhat surprised because I wasn't expecting, Seth Rollins' match. I wasn't expecting Braun Breaker to be there because I thought he was still hurt. So that was my only surprise when it came to that. But we'll get into that in a little bit. So the night actually started with the triple threat match with was it the Vision and Speed versus the Usos with LA Knight. So for me that was kind of a short match. What did you think about that match?
So yeah, it was short. I believe they said it estimated around 6 minutes. So that is a very quick match to have six people in there. So there really wasn't that many highlights. Funny part is the one thing I laughed at is Speed did a head scissors that kind of was like shocking. So I was totally happy that that happened. One thing that they announced though, and I guess they're not going to count it, but they said that this was his second match in WWE. First match was Royal Rumble, and this is his second match. We actually had
Okay.
a dark match that Randy Orton actually like coached him on and worked on. That they ended up doing like a dark match that was on NXT. Um, he did exceptionally well.
Yeah.
With his ability and his acrobats and doing everything. So whatever he's learning, and if he is going to have it in a match, I say give it to him. But I kind of made a joke because I was like, when he first walked in, I said, is that dude wearing like runner tennis shoes that is on top of his boot covering. I
Yeah,
was like, okay, bro, I got you. You doing your thing. But like other than that, I love the fact that Uso and LA came back out there to help him out.
yeah.
So that he doesn't get his tail whooped, and then it's the end of the story. So I like the fact again that could set him up for a possible another match.
True that. And then when he jumped from the top of the ring over to, the table, I was impressed with that because he landed that move flush. So that was
Mhm.
great. I love that move and I love that he did it. So for me, I thought it was a little short. I couldn't believe how short the match was, especially, because at that point, I was sitting there timing it because the first hour was free, and I was like, yeah, this is probably going to go like 30 minutes, and then the next match is going to go 45 minutes, so that way you're going to miss if you don't have unlimited, you're going to miss the end of that match before it starts on unlimited. But it surprised me that the second match actually finished before the hour was up. So all in all, it was a okay match. I won't say it was a great match just because it was kind of short, but I thought it was pretty good. The second match, though, Fatu versus Drew,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic match, fantastic. Especially when Drew got the cell phone from his brother and started live streaming while he's wrestling. I love when he did it last year. I love when he did it this year. So I was thoroughly impressed with that. Some of the stuff with the being unsanctioned, they didn't have to go that far, but still, it was a good match. What do you think of that one?
I agree. For it to be called unsanctioned and the referee wearing like a different like black full like garment, I was
Yeah.
like, this could have just been like a hardcore match or some type of like New York brawl match or call it a Las Vegas brawl match. All we care. But for it to be unsanctioned and kind of make it dramatic like that, but did nothing that was technically unsanctioned. I mean, going through some of the things they used tables, they used a wrench, which the part I was annoyed. He basically used a wrench to get his head, but there was no blood. Anybody knows if you use a wrench, you gonna get some blood, but there was no blood. They
That's
used
true.
uh, uh, they used a referee's belt.
That to
With blood.
me was the hardcore part because Fatu he was beating him with that belt, and I was like, ooh, that's gonna leave some marks right there. That At that point, I thought they went a little too far because I was like, everything else you can see, oh yeah, they're faking that part, but when he started spanking him, he was spanking him, So I was like,
Yep.
and I was like, I was surprised at that part, but everything else was just a regular match to me. Like you
Yeah.
said, even when they went through the table, there was nothing real, special about that match. Like
Not
you said, it
dramatic.
could have just been a regular match for any other day, but I still loved the match. I thought it was a good second match. I was hoping it would have went a little bit longer than it did, and then when it ended, I was like, boy, they finished on time. So, you know, that part was pretty good. I have to say, for me, that was for the first two matches. That was my favorite of the two. Um, I was somewhat disappointed in the first one. I'm hoping tonight is a little bit better, but other than that, from there we moved on to ESPN Limited, which for me, I had a problem because I was watching it on ESPN. I thought it was unlimited when I was on the app, and after the first hour ended, it just switched to another program, and then I had to reload to go back to the app to
Wow.
find it again, which I thought that was kind of weird since I was already on the app. That would have been my only negative when it came to that. Did you have any other problems when it switched, or was yours fine?
So since I was acquiring another source, basically, they had where like through every like transition, it was like a 5 minute period of wait.
Okay.
So I mean, even laugh making a joke about this, and some people made a joke about this. They said that the advertisement for Hulk Hogan and even the wait period of transition of matches was longer than most of the matches that was
Yeah.
carded. in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So the transition that you experienced and probably other people experienced as well, that was longer than a match.
Okay. It actually, after each match, there was 5 minutes of commercials between each match, and it told because it was right there in the corner. It said ad, and it was 5 minutes, and then it would just count down. So I just got up, started doing whatever I was gonna do, and then just waiting for the matches to start up. So, like I said, once they switched to unlimited at 7 o'clock, the first match was the four. What is it?
The four-way tag match for the women's tag.
Four-way tag match. So I, the first group that came out was
Alexa Bliss,
Charlotte.
Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, Charlotte and Alexa. And Alexa, I was reading somewhere where she always wears the same outfit, and they asked why does she not switch it up, and she was saying it's because little girls can get the idea. They don't have to worry about trying to find her outfit. They can always know exactly what she's going to wear,
Oh,
and it's easier for them to get that if they want to do that. And I love that when she said that, and I thought, I was somewhat excited. I didn't want them to win. I really wanted Naya and Last Legend to retain, but that was not to be. And then what is it? What, what's her name? The two.
you
Oh
talking
man,
Bailey?
Bailey and
Vancura.
yeah, Valkyra. They came out. They were pretty good. I was thoroughly impressed. But the big news for this one was who we got back for WrestleMania, and that is Paige. So I
That
knew,
tough one.
because of what happened to Nikki, we were already aware that this was going to be the match and what was going to happen because I heard that Paige was coming back. Um, and they were the last group to come out because Nikki came out with her crutch, and then she said she had to call an old friend, and it turned out to be Paige. How did you feel about Paige coming out in this match?
So I'm gonna make one point real quick, and then I'm gonna go into Page because this whole Page thing is gonna be hilarious.
Okay.
So one of the things I did like though, when when Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair came out, I love the matchup what they did. Charlotte Flair came out as a butterfly, and then Alexa Bliss did a tribute from Bray Wyatt as the moth. So I love the fact that she did a tribute to Bray. If people connected that,
Yes.
um, but then like the whole gimmick story, and I'm going to call it a gimmick story. Which if it was a surgery by Nikki, that's fine. But what's actually happening is there's a background story that's happening right now with AEW and WWE and their war for WrestleMania week. Just to give you
Okay.
an example, so people can know, I think Paige was like a power play call because of Dynasty that just happened in AEW. And then the following episode with what's his name winning the AEW belt. What's his name? It's not popping in my head now. The dude with the face mask that was uh, Sting. It's not popping in my head.
Oh, you're talking about yeah,
Basically, Darby Allin had like a squash match
yeah,
where he won the belt in less than 3 minutes because it was WrestleMania week.
okay,
So once again, I think this was a power play by Paige so that, oh man, I'm gonna throw at AEW that we stole one of your players because, at the same week we gave gosh, what's his name? People I suck at names here. But Royce something.
oh yeah, yeah,
He got the Andre the Giant on SmackDown
he
for winning that
did.
tournament. I'm sorry, Battle Royale. And then you get another hit, which this is going to be once again another funny play, um, where WWE was like trying to make fun of AEW without people knowing. And I can't remember what it is. It's not popping my head right now. But basically, that's what the situation was. It was like,
Okay,
I'm gonna throw a page up there so I can throw a hit out there because there's no way that Nikki is like, I'm injured. I'm in the same city. If you saw what happened after the event for the PLE, She's like, "Oh yeah, we're in the same town." And all of a sudden, like, I just connected with Paige because she was here, and I was like, "Da da da da. Can you replace me?" That's bull.
Okay.
So yeah, but she did phenomenal. Paige, she expressed in like another interview that like when she came out because it's been so long she's been there,
Yeah.
that
8
like
years.
she forgot how
8
to skip.
years. Yeah.
So she walked down. She was excited. She was thrilled to be in that type of crowd again. So I applaud her. Even when announcers they did not call her move correctly. This just said a cradle DDT. Guys,
Yeah.
it's called the Rampage.
Yeah. Now, actually, I forgot when we discussed people, their ring entrance. I love, even though, like I said, they lost, Nia Jax and Lash Legend came out as Demolition, which
Yes.
was an homage to them because they were inducted into the Hall of Fame Friday night. So that was great to see that they had the white on, but they had that same hat, the gloves, and everything. So I was impressed with that. What I enjoyed about this match is, yeah, you did get Paige back, but to see how emotional she was at the end of that match, it was just, phenomenal. I'm glad she's back. I have noticed that a lot of people from AEW are coming to WWE, like you said, because Royce came. What is that? He was at the Royal Rumble 2 months ago, right? So that's when he premiered. And then you have the guy with the paint on his face who actually wrestled. I can't even think of his name, but he's putting hex on
Oh
everybody.
God, what's his name? I
Yeah,
can't remember his name. The vampire dude.
yeah, but he was there as well. So that's at least two people that they picked up. Now I know Brian Danielson is never coming back, and he also can't wrestle anymore. But his wife is back, so what is that saying at this point? But this was a good match. Everybody did a fantastic job. At points, I did want Bailey and Valkyrian to win, or like I said, I would have loved if Nia and Lash could have retained because I'm a huge fan of Lash Legend. I think she's a phenomenal wrestler, and I
Yeah.
think she just needs a really good push. And Nia, I think they misuse her at times, and I felt that way for years. But everything she does a fantastic job of trying to make sure she doesn't hurt anybody when she's in that ring, and that's what I love about her. So even though Paige, they won, but maybe we'll get a rematch, and let's see what happens then.
Well,
So yeah,
one thing I
uh-huh.
think that's pretty cool though, and I'm hoping they are going to do this. Let's see what happens. But since Paige, which again, I was like, oh yeah, she's coming out. I saw it online like 3 days ago. So I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna win the belt because once again, another AEW power play move.
Yeah,
I think AEW looks stupid by putting another champion on someone who just transitioned.
yeah,
But I'm hoping that like Nikki will heal, and then because Paige was the replacement, that Nikki's gonna be like, I just wanted you to be a substitute. That's my belt. And then it creates a feud with Paige and Nikki. Because Brie coming back after Nikki came back because she wanted to come back,
yes,
but after Brie came back because of the Bella twins and the tag team and wanting to secure that look again for OH with the new age wrestlers.
yes.
I'm hoping that Nikki and Paige has some type of feud based off the belt. And that's what's going to bring the belt or even the experience of the singles women match so much better. Because at Raw right now, we see the same two, three people fighting for the women's belt, and it's not at all.
That now that Paige is back, what I would love to see, because when Paige premiered in on the main roster from NXT, she beat AJ, within 2 minutes. And then AJ was gone right after that. They never got a chance for any type of rivalry. And this is an opportunity to fix that wrong. I would love for Paige and AJ to have their moments together since, she came in, she got what she did, and then Paige blew up, AJ left, and now AJ is back and Paige is back. So we can finish their story and I would love to see that.
Mhm.
Um, so the next match after this one, 5 minutes again between matches. But let me think. What was after this match? I can't remember now. Was
So
it?
this was the 1v1 women's intercontinental belt with Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee.
So it was that match. Okay, so that match. What I was gonna say, I was somewhat disappointed in it. I loved, you
Was.
know, I have to say I did love AJ's ring entrance because she had
Yep.
all the girls dressed up like her, and I thought that was beautiful.
They got free
So
Converses, free outfits,
yeah,
free. They
and
got free intercontinental belts, all of them.
yes, they did, right? That was fantastic. But the problem, one girl, I was like, oh, that's her daughter. And then we were like, no, she doesn't have any kids. It turned out it was her niece. But her niece
Oh, I didn't know
looked
that.
just like her. The girl she was holding hands with when she walked out was
Wow,
her niece.
that's dope.
And I'm like, she had her hair done like her. She looked like her little twin. But, that was her niece that was there with her. And, you know, it was a okay match. I certain parts of it, I knew when it started, I was like, yeah, Becky's probably going to win again, because I wish Max Dupree was still champion at some point because I liked her. They gave her that tiny
Yeah.
push. She was champ for what, 2 weeks, and then Becky got the belt back, and now you don't see Maxine at all. And now Paige has only been champion, what, for a month, if a month? But then Becky and her match, you know, Becky did everything in the world to try to cheat or whatever. She was doing. She removed the post off the ring. She was doing all this other stuff, and I was like, this was just a little bit extra. I don't know why she was doing that, for this match. How did you feel about this one going into it?
So I thought the match was going to be predictable, and when I say predictable, and this was the first match, I was like, I'm kind of shocked that she won. 100% I thought AJ was going to win because
Okay.
in my mindset, I'm like, okay, if she wins, then I'm going to give CM Punk a chance that he won. Because again, to me, I felt SmackDown was the go away, speech for the champions. And again, I'm talking about Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. So I was like, if AJ wins, that gave me hope that CM Punk's going to win because they want both of them to come out as winners. Nah, so now I'm scared for CM Punk. But I will say I do like what they did because at first I was like, here we go again with Becky cheating. But when she threw the referee in front of her, and then the referee, they AJ did the splash, and then after that she moved out the way, and then put her into the turnbuckle to hit her with the top turnbuckle part that's exposed. I was like, that's actually genius. Because normally we just see where like the referee will be turned or moved, distracted, and then it's a boom hit. Like
Yeah.
no, referee gets hit because she was pissing the referee off, and I love that dynamic of even that storyline.
Oh
With
my God, she was all in her face the whole match.
but other than that, I mean,
All
the
right,
match
so
was boring.
I did. The one thing I did like is they were doing each other's moves. So um, AJ did the man hand
That's a
slam
little
on her.
sloppy though. It was like
It was sloppy, but it was kind of
to
cute,
the side. It wasn't a man slam. It was like
Yeah,
a rock bottom move or something.
it was. But I was impressed that she attempted it.
Yes.
Then which move did Becky do of hers? I'm trying to remember because Becky did one of AJ's moves as well, which surprised the hell out of me too. Right before that, and then that's when everything went a little crazy, where she finally got the turnbuckle removed, and then because at one point I think she was about to punch the referee in the face, and then she moved, and that's when she got speared by AJ when they moved because they were right at the corner. So that was pretty good, but like I said, it was a predictable match. You knew she was going to win, even though I had hopes that she would not win, because I really would like to see her. AJ would have remained in holding the belt longer than she did, but it was pretty good. Of the two women's matches so far, I gotta say this was my least favorite one, and then we do have another women's match after that, but this one, I didn't want her to win. I'm just going to put it out there, and she did. But that was my only problem with that, is that Becky did not need this belt. Let her move back up or something.
Yep.
But yeah, that would have been my only issue with that. So after that, now we have the main women's match, which is Liv Morgan.
Before that,
Which one?
we got 1-on-1. We have Gunther versus Seth
Oh,
Rollins.
that's right, Gunther versus Seth Rollins. So this one, beforehand, I didn't even pay attention, but Gunther has not won at WrestleMania in over 4 years. So when they said that, I was surprised because I was like, yes, he has lost every single WrestleMania he's been at. The first time he lost to what is it? Was it the Intercontinental Championship he had, or which belt against
For
Sami
so
Zayn?
long.
But whatever belt he had, he lost that one. Last year he lost to Uso for the heavyweight championship belt.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, but I'm like, wow, he has not won. So at this point, I'm thinking he's going to win this one. So it was, they came out brawling before the match even started. They were fighting and doing everything possible. So I knew this was going to be a hard hitting match, and I was looking forward to that. What did you think about that one?
So first thing I'm going to acknowledge is they had the Mortal Kombat trailer before this match.
They sure
And then
did.
when Seth Rollins came out, it reminded me 100% that he's coming out as smoke.
Yeah,
He had like the black, like, dilated eyes. His outfit was smoking. So I was like, is he doing like a smoke reference from Mortal Kombat? But he came out looking dope. So I want to say I'm kind of happy he came out this way because, I mean, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Anytime that he came up before that in WrestleManias and major pay-per-views, he comes out as Seth Rollins. Very flamboyant, very designer wear, very I want to make sure that I'm walking like going down a red carpet kind of type style. But
yeah,
this was kind of Seth Rollins looking like the bad guy, and it looked dope to me.
it
So
was
I
nice.
reference
Yeah,
that. The one thing that I really thought that was pretty dope though was that um, Gunther did a power bomb on the outside apron, and then literally Seth Rollins reversed the following power bomb after that, and basically did a pedigree and a foot stomp on the announce table. And I was
it was
like,
sweet, right?
or that is the, if you want to call it like, this is a joke to reference to my homeboy if he ever watches this. But this is the I forgot how I say it, but the Rudy Poo Poo of the night, like highlight, where I thought that was exceptionally done very well with the transitional reverse to doing the pedigree to doing the foot stomp, and that foot stomp was hard.
It was.
So I enjoyed that. But then what really pissed me off, and I'm going to say it, and I know you're going to talk about it, so I'm going to let you talk about it. But what caused the match to transition from there? Because I thought Seth Rollins was going to win after that.
Yeah,
And then we get another finisher with Gunther choking someone out again because apparently Gunther doesn't submit anymore. He submits. But go ahead and talk about what you're about to say. Oh my God, I'm so mad.
yeah. This theme right here was so disappointing to me. And I guess I was expecting it to happen. Like you said, the beginning of the match and all of the transitions were fantastic until we get this part. And it started with Braun Breaker
Yup.
coming out and
So
just messing up the whole match. If you would have kept it as just the two of them fighting, I think it would have been better instead of Braun coming out and doing what he did. And then yeah, then we get Seth in a sleeper hold, and that's how it ends. So up until this point, the match was great.
yep.
This was like one of my favorite matches of the night. This match was awesome. And like you said, I forgot when Seth came out with the smoke and his eyes were black, and I was like, that is awesome. And then to take out the thing, and he was still smoking as he
Yeah.
walked into the ring. So that was beautiful. So I loved his ring entrance this time. And as I said, they went at it the whole time, and then from one table to the other table, and then everything else that was going on, and then of course Braun running 100 miles an hour down ring. And I'm like, he was running too when he speared him. I'm
Yes.
like, man. So that part ruined it for me. I wish Gunther would stop doing this finishing move and let's move on to something else. When he
Yeah.
did his slams, those were fantastic. Let's go back to that.
Um, mhm.
This is kind of disappointing. And then as the match ends, and they're leaving, they're checking up on everybody, and then Braun spears him again. I'm like, whoa, he
That
was
second
laying
spear was better.
he was
I
going
mean, you
hard
missed
on
it
that
a
one.
little bit, but it was better.
It was better. So yeah, in that sense, I did enjoy this match. Probably one of my favorites of the night, even over the main card match. I like this one much
Great card
better.
match. But this
So
makes Gunther look a little weak, and that's what kind of pissed me off. He is
yeah,
the legend killer right now. Over, and I'm gonna say it, even though he's my favorite wrestler, over Randy Orton. He's the original legend killer.
yeah,
But for what they're doing right now with Gunther, like he's supposed to be the legend killer right now in the new era, and this
true.
makes him look weak.
It is true. And this finishing move is ridiculous for me. So I just want him to go back to the slam and then the pin. So let's just go back to that, and I think we would be good to go. So after this match
Well,
is
I gotta
one.
make one more because this is gonna be
Oh, go
another.
ahead.
Okay, so I ended up watching the Hall of Fame. I actually watched a little bit last night. I'm sorry, not last night, but the night before while I was live at 12 a.m. Eastern because it was 10 p.m. For them in Las Vegas. And I was, what is it, 2 hours or was it 3 hour delay? I can't even pop my head right now for Las
It's
Vegas.
two. The what
It
is
was
it? It's 2 hours.
of the Eastern. Okay.
Oh,
But
3 hours. It's 3 hours.
so Stephanie McMahon came out first, which is great for the Hall of Fame. And then because, from my understanding, for every Hall of Fame, the introductory legend supposed to come out last, which was AJ Styles, for the final speech to end the Hall of Fame with flowers, congratulations, beautiful ending. Which I love how AJ Styles like finished it. I even give a point where he said they asked him, "Is he going to miss wrestling?" And he said no. He said the reason why is because I get to go home to my family every day and be able to go to all the sports games. If my daughter gets injured with her knee, I'll be able to like be there and to truly be there with my wife again. Like that was beautiful for him to say because everybody wanted him to say I'm going to miss it,
Yeah, I
but
was surprised
apparently
with that
he
too.
got
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
package
yeah.
for his legend deal. And again, power play move for WWE doing that because of AEW. He was going to go to AEW afterwards. We all knew this.
Yeah.
Because of the New Japan that is connected with AEW, we could have finally got those like New Japan matches that we wanted to see. Because they're over there doing the Styles Clash like every freaking week apparently on AEW. So that's another again a joke. But they did the Hall of Fame coming out for WrestleMania for night one. And it pissed me off because I was like, AJ Styles came out, and then I felt this way. Maybe AJ Styles didn't, but the Stephanie McMahon came out last, and I was like, but the legend's supposed to come last. So is that kind of like saying, oh, I'm better than you, AJ Styles, or I am more presentable than you, or age, or I'll even put it this way, it's how I felt. AJ Styles, we used you for what we needed to use. We're going back to being WWE being better. Like that sucked to me.
I have to agree with you. I was surprised that she did come out last. Like you said, it should have been AJ coming out last. So that surprised me. And for her to be the first speech on the night, her speech was probably one of my favorites. She did a fantastic job with her speech, and especially I didn't know all the things she's done outside of the ring, stuff like that. So Connor's Cure, stuff like that, where she is very involved in cancer research. So I applaud her for that. She's a wonderful person. And then when she ended her speech, when she was like, "I'm going to be the bitch," um, um, myself, and I'm like, "Yes." And then stand up for me, I'm like, and if it wasn't for me, I'm like, it's so true. She did a great speech. Probably the one speech, and I know he was really emotional, would have been Dennis Rodman. Because I'm like, yeah, he seemed somewhat lucid, when he was speaking, but he probably just seemed, I guess he looked a little overwhelmed when he was up there.
Yeah,
Uh, that's the only way I can put it. But the
it was
other speech,
emotional for him.
yeah, and that's what I felt. But other than that, everybody was pretty good. AJ was great with his speech. And like you said, he is happy that he can spend time with his family. So I'm looking forward to hopefully maybe everything else will be cool. Like you said, I didn't think if he was going to go to AEW, but it does seem like when they retired from WWE, they ended up at AEW because Edge is there now, and he's
Oh, because
wrestling
that
again.
package doing
Yeah,
AEW.
yeah.
That
So
package was dope.
okay, so that's what I'm like. I'm looking at Christian and Edge; they're back together again. So we'll have to see how that works out for AJ. So we'll see what happens. Now, after that, then we get the women's Raw match, which is Stephanie Vaquera versus Liv Morgan. Now, I have to ask, did you think this was going to be a fair fight?
Well, I'm gonna make one joke, and then I'm
Okay.
gonna go into how embarrassing it was. And I'm gonna make a laugh.
Okay.
So, we saw the live music video
Yes. Yeah.
of Liv Morgan coming out because
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna joke like when people were talking about they saw a screenshot of Liv Morgan, they were trying to figure out what is this about or whatever, and then we ended up finding out it was a music video, and then she did a live performance. I thought that was kind of cheesy but cool at the same time because people were joking like she's dressed up as Britney Spears, while everybody else is dressed up as just dancers. So they did the comparison of the two. Um, but then like people caught on that she was lip syncing. I'm like, guys, understand she's going down just showing y'all the live music video. So that's what it is. Some people actually do lip syncing. We made a joke once again about Britney Spears doing lip syncing. So that's the two things I connected.
Yeah.
Britney Spears, Liv Morgan, both lip syncing. Okay, cool. Now to answer your question though, um, I gotta make this laughing joke real quick. There's a video out right now. I kind of shared it to a bunch of people. That cameraman.
Oh, yeah.
He was interference as well to the what we're about to talk about next for the interference because
Yeah.
he was on point. My gosh, the camera was on what he needed to put it on. But,
Yeah.
but I 100% knew that Judgment Day all that was coming out. But I thought that there was a rumor that Dominic was going to actually come out and be for Stephanie Valcure. But apparently
Really?
it didn't happen. We thought we were going to do like a more of an extended storyline of
Okay.
Stephanie and Liv Morgan, and Dominic was going to be on Stephanie, and that would be kind of like the new relationship. But I
Ooh.
didn't. But I expected it. I knew it that they was going to give the belt to Liv Morgan if Dominic don't come out, and he didn't till celebration.
True. So yeah, I was surprised at that. Because up until Uh, everybody showed up. It was a pretty good match. It was fairly even. You got let's just say you got a devil's kiss from Stephanie. You got a few finishing moves from Liv, and then of course Raquel and Roxanne came out, and I'm like, now it's over. At
Hmm.
this point, the match is over, and you're gonna get the end that you're gonna get. Now, I wish at times, and I know, it is what it is, but I think it would be better off at times if you just get an actual match without all the interference so that you can see who's really going to win based on
Yep.
just their talent. Stephanie is a great talent. I thought she's somewhat wasted. This was a good storyline that they were building up, especially with Liv. But Liv didn't need to do all of these things in order for her to win this match. So that was my only problem with that was just that part of it. But it was still a fantastic match. Really, really good match.
Hmm.
It's got some great highlights, and especially for Liv to have to do her finishing move twice in order to win, even though there was the interference with everybody, because Stephanie had to jump over the rope where she got Roxanne and what's her name on at that point, and then she got slammed into the steps. and then got back in, and that's when we got the end of the match. But other than that, it was good. And then of course Dominic shows up, even though just to show like what we're looking at now. This is the only part of the match he was there. Other than that, it was just a good, clean fight. Besides, like I said, the two girls coming out. So yeah, I say this one was okay. I'm looking forward to tonight's match more than this one because I am really looking forward to Rhea and Jade Carhill. I want Jade to win because again, she's been underutilized for the past 3 months since she's held this belt, and this is finally giving her some a little bit of a heads up with what she's got going on. Even though they turned her heel to make her, build up this match,
Yeah.
I'm still looking forward to that. But this one was okay. It was somewhat of a weird match, but it was okay. Um, Now, let me just ask: of all the women's matches that we've seen last night, what would you say was your favorite women's match?
Um, I mean, to be honest, I particularly like the tag match, even though it was done so fast. I love that there were highlights for almost every person. I love that there was like again that kind of like chemistry that they had with it. So I think that's the main reason why. Again, like AJ and Becky Lynch. I don't know why, but I was like that match was done so fast to me.
True.
Again, I couldn't like enjoy that match. And then Stephanie Ventura and the Morgan match, I thought that was the second best out of all three. But like I really wanted Becky Lynch. I'm sorry, not Becky Lynch. Sorry. I really wanted Stephanie Ventura to win. Again,
Yeah.
for her to be the star. I mean, even at the end of the match, again, looking at highlights from like what videos are coming out, Stephanie looked it defeated when she was like leaning on the back of the announce table on the floor after the loss celebration.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they continue something with Stephanie Ventura. We do know moments like this when losers in the women division lose, it gets pushed to somebody else.
True.
Um, she becomes outcast into like a lower card. You want to call it like maybe the middleweight. I'm sorry, not middleweight, but the middle tower division. Where I mean, right now, no one cares about the women's intercontinental belt. So maybe they're going to put it on her. I
Yeah.
don't. But Liv Morgan is now going to be the highlight. Stephanie is going to be gone. I'm sad. But again, kind of like how you said it, the interference. We know she's the bad guy. We know that's Judgment Day. I'm just want to see a championship match actually just win by a championship, and her winning because of her making kind of like the what is it, villain moves.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree because I knew it was coming. I didn't think it was going to be a clean match, but it was an it was somewhat interesting. For me, like you said, my favorite match of the night, female wise, was still the tag team championship. Just because it had more surprises, it had a lot of great action in it. So that for me was the best match of the night, female wise. We only have one more match, which I'm thinking when it happened, I was like, we are at the 3.5 hour mark when this match start. And I'm like, I felt short. For some reason, I felt like we were being shorted for some reason. But then we get Cody and Randy. That was the last match of the night. And the build up to it, to me, was fantastic. You have Cody. They showed all of his old wrestling gear when he first started off, which was, I'm like, oh, I
Oh my
forgot
god,
he used to wear that. I
I
forgot.
even loved what they did with that.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
I remember I texted you and I was like, they almost did it where it was like, the Batman lair. They get
Yeah,
into
yeah,
like the elevator or they get into like that. I forgot what they call that little like casket thing that Batman would get into, and then it was lowered down into some type of like layer, and then they had it where all his outfits was in those kind of cases, similar to
yeah,
Batman and Iron Man.
yeah,
And I love that they showed the evolution. And that's the joke that I was kind of making in my head
yeah,
because Randy Orton was an evolution. Um, and then it transitioned into like almost like it was a legacy
yeah,
and making a joke towards Randy Orton being a part of that. I just loved how they did that transition, and then also they did it where once again it goes from the teacher student of him being a mentor, kind of like highlight, but then they went when they went to him coming out as like a new kind of like character.
Yeah,
That's when I was like, are we finally going to get villain Cody Rhodes? Because when he came out, all I saw was the gold and white,
yeah.
and someone said that was a reference to. Um, oh gosh, what's the show called? Masters of the Universe with
Oh,
He-Man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whatever that villain name is, I can't think of his name. If you know the villain name,
It's Skeletor.
well, is it Skeletor or is it a different villain? It's like all gold and white.
Oh, no, that's but see, that's what's her name? She-Ra's villain, and I can't remember. Yeah, her
Okay,
villain is
yeah.
that guy, and I can't even think of that guy's name because he has that helmet like
And they were saying that like that would have been the reference possibly because even during was it one Stephanie McMahon's interview or his wife interview when he was on one of those shows, and he was expressing that he collects characters, and he actually pointed to that character in his collection that he said that he got a good bargain deal from finding like action figures. So that's when I was like, villain Cody Rhodes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to that part. I just love, like you said, the caskets with all his old ring gear in it, and
Hmm.
then to show the picture, and then Randy coming out. You know, I love the opening with that because you think you're going to get some interference from everybody, but they did that prior to the match starting, so that was great. And then we had Jelly Roll, giving the elbow through the table to what's his name. So that was fantastic. He gets wheeled out in the neck brace, and
Oh,
then we
God,
get
yeah,
the
I on that too because
huh,
I was kind of a little annoyed off of like the writing for that move.
huh,
But then when Jelly Roll did the diving elbow onto the table, that finally broke because
yeah,
again, like this table has been foot stomped, this has been pedigree. So they finally hit the button for the table to break,
yeah,
and literally Pat gets up and walks almost to like the carrier thing for the
yeah,
carrier bed. And I was like, normally they would like put a neck brace on him and they would like put the thing under him and then put up there. But I understood the speed of the was trying to do for the match.
yeah.
But I'm like, yo, even Randy is kind of just sitting there. Well, not sorry, sitting.
Hand it off to the side, right? Like
So they
nothing's
could have
going
used
on.
that time to put him up there, but no. If Pat got hurt, he should have got hurt. How he get up and
Yeah,
get up there? And then when they like ringed him up the ramp, he put the
yeah,
whole like thumbs up and then the
yeah.
middle.
Then he middle finger up.
I was like, bro, you're not that injured then.
Because I'm like, he's doing Terminator.
Because I was waiting for that. Every person who gets on the stretcher and goes
Yeah,
up, they do the finger thing, but I love that he did the middle finger
the
afterwards.
middle finger thing was funny. But yeah, I love that they did that up front where Jelly Roll and them. I didn't want Pat to be out there the whole match where he's going to mess up everything. So this match turned to be kind of violent more so than I imagined because
What do you
after
think?
it yeah, because after it started, then I'm looking at Randy. He hits the ring post outside the ring. And I'm like, how did he cut his head open on that scene that little bit? Because he barely touched his head, but now he's got a cut right on his forehead that pretty much, and that was what, probably 10 minutes into the match when this happens. And then we have him bleeding the rest of the match. And I'm going to go back, like you said. At this point, I'm like, are they trying to steal from AEW on that? Because AEW is king of people getting cut in a match. And this is
No.
the first time I've ever seen this happen like that. But they kept going. They wrestled this whole match, and it was nice physical in ring wrestling. Nothing out of the ordinary. It was just one person versus the other. So I love this match, and like I said, we talked about it earlier. I would have been okay if Randy won, but I was hoping Cody was going to win this. You said you were hoping Randy was going to win this one.
Exactly. So he can finally get his like 15. So then
Yeah,
like what he had to do was just get like technically two more to beat John Cena. Because my hope is that he's actually going to beat John Cena's record of 17. But because he lost, we still got three because he's tied with Triple H. Then he has to beat Ric Flair, and then he has to beat John Cena's. I'm hoping he got enough time to get his three championships. If not, John Cena's keeping it. But that's the reason why I was kind of frustrated. That and then I felt like the story for Randy Orton would have continued because if we're talking about maybe bringing back some of the Attitude Era, since that was the match that kind of showed the Attitude Era a little bit, Randy Orton would bring in more of the Attitude Era. What
Yeah.
about Cody Rhodes?
So yeah, I mean, I was thinking I wanted Cody to win this one, but I can feel you on that one. I didn't think that Randy was going to win just because uh, they kept talking about that number he was reaching for. So that's why I was like, he's not going to win this. It's going to go to Cody. And it, like I said, it was physical, it was violent, it was bloody. We do get the referee getting knocked out, and then Pat finds a referee shirt, comes back out, and screws it up still even more. So I gotta say I enjoyed this match. And then at the end here, where Cody's holding up the belt, then Randy went crazy, ballistic at the end of the match. You know, he just starts tearing down everything, busting up everybody. So at this point, I don't know when Cody, because and you showed it to me earlier, but Cody had a messed up eye and he was bleeding from the top of his head. You know, I don't know when he cut that part open. So this, like I said, was just a violent match, but it was a good match. And I have to say, for night one, they ended on a really high note. That was a great match. Again, though, yeah, like you said, it would have been great if Randy had won his number 15. But like I said, I knew that wasn't going to happen just because.
Well, this is one thing I'm hoping that did happen though. So I'm hoping that they're just like maybe. I mean, maybe that I it happened that way towards the match, whatever happened. But maybe that could be a reference of how powerful that the punt kick was that Randy
Oh
did.
yes,
So
yes,
that I hope that's what happens. Is that was the side of the where he got the punt kick.
yeah.
Um, but then, like, I do like the fact because Randy Orton is my favorite wrestler in this time era right now for wrestling, and we got three RKO's. We got one with the referee. We got the reversal for the Cody Cutter from the top rope, and then we got the Pat McAfee, RKO, which I was thrilled because I heard that in the writing of that action, that was a kind of like a hit at THQ, since the reason why that Pat came in was because of THQ trying to bring in more tickets in. 'Cause once again, I'm going to make a quick joke. Dynasty, great, great, 100%. Like people, buying tickets, they did very well on what they did. So this is them again trying to compete against, AEW because of the ticket sales that's happening right now in WWE because the prices were totally outrageous.
Oh my gosh.
A little small storyline. We're trying to bring the ticket sales down to 25% off to probably make it much cheaper because I'm gonna make a joke real quick. The very beginning of WrestleMania Night One, when people were coming out, I was looking for angles to see if there was a lot of people full seats or there was some missing seats. So there were definitely quite missing seats, and like the front area where the ring is, and then like the seating on the floor, there was missing seats.
Yes.
Of course, we know in most wrestling events that the side of where the cameraman is, I'm curious if he was there on that side. But once again, we got three RKO's. All three were beautiful. And the punt kick that everybody's like, yes! And then Randy Orton leaving, and then Cody Rhodes is down there, hurt, not getting. I thought that was a good ending to hoping to see if Randy Orton is going to be back on to Monday night. We know that Cody Rhodes probably won't.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I gotta say that is true. I heard now. My thing is, I heard that Randy was retiring this year. That was the reason I was thinking he was going to win. So if he does retire, he's only got what is it? I know Backlash is coming up next month. We have SummerSlams, so he only has a few more opportunities where he can win a title. So
Yep, about
got
two more, three more.
yeah, three more pay per views. So Yeah, we'll have to see what happens then. So tonight we have some big matches as well. So we got CM Punk versus uh, Roman Reigns. The one match I'm looking forward to, but I wish it was later in on the card. We have Oba Femi.
Oh
You
my
know,
god, that match.
that's the match I cannot wait to see tonight. What matches are you looking forward to this evening?
So I'm definitely going to 100% say the overfitting match, just because like I have been like wanting to see, like, you know, the conqueror match. I'm going to call it that because he is the conqueror, and I hope he conquers the heck out of Brock Lesnar. And I hope that they don't do something stupid. I'm going to say what it is
Okay,
and have Brock Lesnar win. That would be very, very stupid because this
true,
is going again, just like you're saying, how Randy Orton is going to retire. We got AJ Styles going to retire. We also know that this is Brock Lesnar's last year. He's going to retire.
true,
So we have to make Oba look very, very strong.
true.
Overheard that Brock Lesnar like wanted him to look very strong. The first encounter, Brock Lesnar was happy to look weaker than Oba. That was said that he did that purposely. So I'm hoping that Oba wins as a conqueror and not as two people fighting together and somehow Oba wins. Like he has to come out strong. And I'm
Yeah.
waiting to see what Brock Lesnar is going to look like. I'm hoping Brock Lesnar loses and then maybe like 2 or 3 seconds after whatever move that Oba does, and then he crashes out. That's what I want to get another fight.
Yeah,
You
you're
got to
right.
look good, so we got to have a Brock and Oba match too.
That's true. I mean, they could do that, like you said, at Backlash, do another one. So that's the main one I'm looking forward to tonight. Plus, as I said earlier, Jade and Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
I want Jade to win. I do not want Rhea to win. When I saw them standing toe to toe with each other the other night, Friday night, I was like, boy, Jade is way more powerful looking than
100%.
Rhea is. So I really want to see a good, clean match. I know we're going to get a little bit of interference, but keep it, in the ring, and let's see how these two women can hold each other. Because when Jade first showed up in WWE, I thought it would have been a great match if she would have fought Charlotte Flair. That was what I 100% wanted to see. Then Charlotte got hurt, and for me, for some reason, she doesn't look the same as she did prior to getting hurt. She looks smaller, like she's lost a lot of weight, and I don't think she would hold well against Jade. But Rhea should hold well against Jade, and that's what I want to see as a good, clean match. Um, then we have the four-man, what is it, ladder match for the
Oh, it's turning to 5 man now.
Oh, five, yeah, I
Sorry, no, I'm
forgot
wrong.
because yeah,
6 man.
Mysterio has joined that match.
Yeah, it's 6 man now. What they did it.
Six, good lord, I didn't even.
Yeah. So it is. And y'all gotta laugh at the graphics because they made a mistake on the graphics. It looked like they fixed it. But it's supposed to be. Let's see. We have Penta.
Yes,
We have. I'm trying to make sure I'm
Ja-
doing this correctly. Okay.
Javon Davis,
Yep. We have Javon Evans. We have Dragon Lee. We have Mysterio, Rusev, and McDuff.
Rusev. Okay, wow, I forgot about all of that. So
Yep.
that to me is just a bit of an overkill, but okay. I would love to see Javon win the match because
He has to.
yeah,
Also
he
get
is.
this nice push.
Yeah, I loved him on NXT, because
Mm-hmm.
he's a small guy, but he's a lot of fun to watch, and that's one thing I absolutely loved about him, and I would love if he could win this match. If Penta retains, I'm good with that as well, but we'll have to see how that one goes. That's going to be quite an interesting match coming up tonight,
As long as
and
things gotta be more than 4 or 5 minutes. We got six
yes,
people wrestling.
oh my God, you're right. Yeah, you're 100% right about that. Well, with all the people in the ring, it should go longer than 5 minutes, So
I mean, with these 30-minute advertisements.
they have been, and it is funny because you say that they have been long, long advertisements last night, and it's funny because after every match, you got that 5 minute you got the 5 minute commercial where the ad pops up. And I'm like, well, I can go do something now. I know how much time I got before I got to be back. So that's what I'll be looking forward to tonight.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to because I forgot about it because I wanted to talk about it, but Dominic and we are finally getting. Oh my gosh, Finn Balor! Please don't make this look dumb.
oh,
I
Demon
so
Finn
want
Balor.
to brought back the Fiend.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's
I
it,
need the Fiend look like the Fiend
yes,
because even if I remember him coming out in WrestleMania with he had kind of like the smoker color joints and he looked at like I'm WrestleMania material. The Fiend has to look like WrestleMania like
yeah,
material. Please don't have him come out like he looks. I don't want to say underrated, but there was a reason why we never got the Fiend of what Finn Balor says because he wanted the Fiend to come back as a main event, not
yeah,
just every weak character that they was trying to do for a little bit for NXT. I'm sorry, not for
yeah,
NXT, for WWE on the main card. Because when he was in NXT, when we got the Fiend, it was like, yes, the Fiend is coming out.
yeah.
And then when they put him on regular WWE roster, it was like, oh, the Fiend is coming out. So
True.
because we haven't seen him yet, we got to get that. Oh my gosh, shocker! Similar to when Paige came out, we
Yes.
got to get that.
Yeah, you're right about that. And then
Do
let's
it.
get his original theme music back out there as
Yes,
well. So I cannot wait to see that match. That one's going to be good. Then we have Trick Williams versus
I'm scared.
you.
I'm scared.
Really?
I'm scared that they're not going to give it the trick. They need to give it the trick.
Okay, okay.
They have to give it a trick. I'm hoping they don't do anything like what's his name come out and mess it up on trick since that's how he lost the belt.
Marlo, what is it? Mello,
Yeah,
Mello.
like, I hope they don't do nothing stupid like that, or I hope they don't just give it to Zayn so we can have another match to keep this storyline going. Like Trick Williams has to win because he's slowly like every single day it's a boom, boom, boom. There's nothing where he's going down. I mean,
True.
even Triple H kind of did like an interview saying like, I love Trick Williams' character so much, and he kind of made a joke. He was like, I don't even know what a lemon pepper stepper is. But I love the fact that when he comes out as the character that he created,
True.
where Triple H don't even have to write a story script for him because
Yeah.
he's so good on the mic. So
Yeah.
because he's good on the mic, he's good on performance, and I 100% believe, and I'm going to say what I say, Trick Williams can wrestle,
Yes.
right?
I mean,
We
think
got
about it. He came from a professional football career to wrestling. So
even doing Capoeira, like
yeah. So
so
no,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And what I have to say about this, one thing I don't know if anybody noticed, but if you look at NXT, the talent that they have on NXT, you have three people that just came up that are main eventing, um, WrestleMania Night 2. You've got
Hmm.
Javon Evans, you've got Obafemi, and you got Trick Williams. And think about it. Last year, they were the main event. Their title card, the three of them in a three-way title on NXT, their final pay-per-view for last year. And I think, well, Obafemi won, but that was still the three of them together was such a great match. And now we get
Hmm.
to see them on WrestleMania. So I think all of them are going to do fantastic. Like you said, I want Oba to win, and I want it to be a domination of type win. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. Trick is the boy, and like I said, Javon Evans, that boy is bouncy, and I want to see him be.
Yes,
I want to see him be bouncy when we get that match tonight. So we're going to come back again tomorrow. We're going to talk about what we see tonight. Probably tomorrow night. It's going to be a little bit later, but I'm looking forward to tonight, and we will be talking about what we see again tonight. Anything you want to say, Jay Fizzle, in closing?
I'll just say one more thing and one more thing only. If Roman Reigns win, and I'm going to call it, Roman Reigns is going to win. What I want to see is I want to see Jey Uso come out and look like he's a leader over Roman Reigns because
Okay.
Roman Reigns transition to spearing CM Punk that one night he came back, and Jay saying, "You better do what you got to do it for us, do what you got to do." Like he's like the leader. He said, "Go do it." Then
Yeah.
he speared. I need Jay to come out and celebrate as if he's over Roman Reigns.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. And like you said, no, for me, I want to see Roman Reigns win, but I think that would make a good match between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. I would like to see that match in a future pay per view or whatever. So that would give Randy his 15 if they do it that way. Um, I think that would be a great match. And I don't know if we're going to get them sometime next year. Hopefully, we can get something sooner than that. So, that's what I hope we get as well. So, in closing, everybody, we had a great night last night with WrestleMania 42. It was some really good matches. I felt it was a little short, but it was still over 3 hours. I don't know why I felt it was short, but maybe because some of the matches were short and then some of the commercials were long. So hopefully we'll get a little bit better tonight.
Oh,
We'll see.
I'm going to go against you. I gave that junk a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it was rushed. I'm going to call
Yeah.
it what it was rushed. So I
Okay.
didn't feel the impact of the storylines that they attempted to do to be fulfilled fully.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to say out of 10, it had some good moments. So I probably give it 5 out of 10
Okay.
because there were some things I loved, even though there were some things I didn't love. The surprise with, even though I knew she was back, just seeing Paige again was great. We got Bianca being pregnant, and the emotion behind that was great. I enjoyed the Cody match. They've ended on a high note with me, and Randy doing that punt at the end was fantastic. So it ended better than it
Yes.
kind of began. So that's why I'll say it's a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
All right. So thank you everybody for joining us. If you catch us later in the repeat, always hit that like and subscribe. We're going to be probably live again later tonight on Blur to Taku. We're going to be talking about, which is kind of funny, we're going to be talking about sports anime. So join us for that this evening. So we got a few things to talk about. All right, everybody, have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Jay Fizzle.